So, this game against the Grizzlies on the 25th of January. It was a tight 2-point game with a little over a minute left on the game clock. And as Poole was taking that ill-advised shot, just like Steph, I was like, no, don't shoot it, man. Just hold on to it and burn some time off the clock. Lo and behold, he took the shot and missed it. Then a few seconds later, Steph gets ejected from the game, and then I was like, man, are you serious? He didn't do anything. And then I saw the clip of him throwing his mouth guard away because he was mad at Poole for that play, and I laughed, and I thought to myself, okay, I can see why he got tossed out of the game. I can't have people just throwing mouth guards around with no penalties. Anyway, soon after that, Klay Thompson hit a clutch shot that got me saying, sheesh. Then with the game tied and 2 seconds left on the game clock, I thought for sure it was going into overtime. But then, Jordan Poole redeemed himself with this back-cut game winner. This was quite possibly the best game so far this season, and man, I loved every second of it. But it got even better because after the game, as JP3 was walking through the tunnel, Steph was waiting there, and when Poole saw him, he threw his mouthpiece away as a joke. Then the two of them shared a moment there. Man, guys, trust me when I say that the Golden State Warriors have finally done it. One of the Warriors' main jobs for the season was to get this man ready. Did you all know that coming out of high school, Kuminga was actually the number 4 rated prospect? He actually rated right behind Evan Mobley, a young star with the Cavaliers, and right ahead of Scotty Barnes, who took home the 2022 Rookie of the Year award. The problem with Kuminga when he first entered the NBA, however, was that he was really raw. I mean, he was easily one of the most athletic players in the league, but at the time, he didn't know how to use all that raw talent he had. There were flashes of his potential every here and there, but nothing was really consistent. Today, however, that's a completely different story. First off, did y'all see this dunk? Sheesh, guys. He's definitely passing the eye test. The highlights speak for themselves. And then when it comes to the analytics, check this out. In his last 10 games, he's been scoring in double figures while shooting 55% from the field and 44% from three-point range. Those are literally all-star efficiency numbers. Oh, and also, you gotta check out this bucket. In that game against the Grizzlies, look at how he spun on Desmond Bane, put him in a blender, and then hit that fadeaway jumper. My goodness, guys. But it doesn't stop there because, well, since as long as I can remember, I kept saying that whenever he develops a consistent three-point shot, he's definitely going to be a problem. And my gosh, guys, against the Raptors, did y'all see him go splash Kuminga mode when he hit 4 trays in the third? The Warriors have finally started to be able to draw out some of his innate talents, and the thing is, there's still almost half a season left to go this year. Losing GP2 and Otto Porter hurt the Warriors a lot, but if Kuminga can continue to be an efficient player coming off the bench and improve upon what he currently has, he's literally going to be a nightmare when the playoffs come around. And this segues directly into my next point. Not only is the Warriors bench improving, but a key member of their starting unit is as well. Before I get into the numbers, I'm going to allude to that game against the Grizzlies again because look here. Just when I thought Jordan Poole was going to turn the ball over again in the clutch, somehow Klay got it, and even with the outstretched arms of Dylan Dynasty Brooks on his tail, the only thing Klay saw was the rim, and the only next sound we all heard was splash. Sheesh, guys. I nearly flipped my table over in awe at that moment. Anyway, game after game after game, Klay has shown the NBA world that he is officially back, and again, just like Kuminga, it's not just the eye test either. If you don't believe me, have a look at the numbers yourself. To start the season in his first 10 games, Klay was averaging 14 points on horrible efficiencies from the floor. I remember at one point near the start of the season, someone was comparing his efficiency numbers with Russell Westbrook, but man, look at his numbers now. In his last 10 games, he's honestly putting up some legit superstar numbers. 27 points a game on shooting splits of 46% from the field, 44% from three-point range, and 91% at the free throw stripe. My goodness, guys. Can you see why I'm saying that the Warriors are finally doing it? The growing pains that Steve Kerr kept talking about at the beginning of the season are finally starting to bear fruits. And this directly leads to my next point, and that's James Wiseman. Just before I get into the specifics of him, however, check out this play. Wiseman's up top setting the screen for Clay. When both defenders stick with the Splash Brother, Wiseman rolls to the rim, and even with two defenders jumping up looking for the block, Wiseman, with his athleticism, easily gets by them and lays it in softly, like how Hakeem used to do it. Until his recent ankle injury that happened in practice, he looked like he was finally starting to understand his role, but sadly, since then, there's actually been speculation of the Warriors looking to trade the big man. But the truth is, he's the last piece of the Warriors puzzle to becoming an overwhelming favorite to win not just this year's championship, but next year's as well. I mean, 7 feet tall, athletic, and did you all know that back in 2019, in the draft class which had the likes of LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards, that it was Wiseman who was rated as the #1 high school player? Honestly, just like how Kuminga needed time to grow, the same needs to be said of Wiseman. Because the truth of the matter is, if he learns how to star in his role, it's literally game over for the entire league. If Wiseman could turn into something like DeAndre Ayton by the end of the regular season, just look at the roster. Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, Looney are the starting five. And in case y'all didn't know already by the numbers and by recent finals history, this is the best starting five in the entire NBA. Then coming off the bench, this is where things get pretty crazy. Jordan Poole is the sixth man. This dude is literally good enough to start on most NBA teams, but instead, he'll be coming off the bench. Then you got Jonathan Kuminga, who, like I said earlier, is growing into an absolute beast and is contributing meaningful minutes while helping the Warriors win. Then you got Dante DiVincenzo, who is a savvy veteran that only knows how to play winning basketball. And then after that, you've got two-way players in Anthony Lamb and Ty Jerome, whose efficiency numbers are off the roof. Then finally, like I said, if Wiseman can learn how to be like a DeAndre Ayton this season, then the Warriors literally become 11 deep. And not only that, but they'll have every position on the floor covered. Shooters, the jack of all trades, athletic beasts, efficient role players. Anyway, I know that as of now, the Nuggets are on top of the West, but trust me when I say that they're hoping the Warriors don't somehow slip into that 8th seed. And then, I know the Grizzlies all gather together once a week, hold hands, and pray that the Warriors don't land in that 7th seed because, honestly, after all their trash talking, after everything that's been going on, if they're a first-round exit to the Warriors again, they're just going to be out of words. Draymond alluded to this in an interview recently as well.
I feel sorry for who's the 1 or 2 seed if we're in a play-in situation.
I honestly hope the Warriors do land in that 7th seed because this is how it'll play out. They'll wipe out Dillon Dynasty Brooks and the Grizzlies in 6 games again, and then in that second round, at the moment, it seems like it'll be a reunion of Mike Brown and the Warriors. Golden State will take out Sacramento in 5 or 6 games. Then it seems like Jokic is on his way to winning his 3rd consecutive MVP trophy, so the Warriors would also have eliminated a fully healthy Denver team with a superstar center who's putting up unheard of regular season numbers. Then in the finals, there's a ton of storylines. I mean, beating the Celtics again in back-to-back years would be amazing. Beating Giannis and the Bucks would silence the media. Beating the 76ers would also silence the media. But the big one is beating the Nets. If the Warriors beat the Nets in the NBA Finals, I know one thing is for sure. Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal are going to be talking about that bus rider thing for years and years to come.